Mark Andreessen is an American businessman and software engineer. He is the co-author of Mosaic, the first widely used web browser with a graphical user interface, and the co-founder of Netscape. But perhaps he's best known as a co-founder and general partner of Silicon Valley venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz. Many observers credit the term product market fit to Mark Andreessen and his venture capital firm. The concept is famously used by Silicon Valley venture capitalists like Andreessen Horowitz and Sequoia Capital, and their influence has been massive. Search for the term on Google, as I did a few days before putting together this presentation, and you'll see hundreds or even thousands of hits from the would-be business consultants trying to cash in on their success. There are inevitably huge numbers of nifty illustrations, like the one displayed on this slide. Since 2013, when private equity firms began counting billion-dollar startups, there have been about 1 million new businesses created in Canada, according to Industry Canada's key small business statistics. As of 2024, just 21 of these became unicorns. That is a measly 0.0019%. And that's not very many. Over the years, my partner and I have worked extensively with one of these unicorns, as well as other growth companies that have had successful exits. Does this make us very highly skilled or just very lucky? More importantly, one client has been the source of numerous referrals over the years. We couldn't design a one-size-fits-all financing playbook for the bulk of our clients, based on our experience with that one unicorn. They were too much of an outlier to serve as a prototype. But they did help us sharpen our core competencies. We learned how to deliver great support for claiming tax incentives for R&D, and we kept our eyes open in order to see what strategies worked for successful early-stage companies. In our view, we prefer to help our clients survive long enough to build their own minimum viable product. They can then scale sustainably or find the appropriate work-life balance that works for them. Fair concept of product market fit extends to businesses in the accounting services industry, as well as to their clients. According to Statistics Canada, the accounting services industry is highly concentrated, with the 10 largest firms making up about 45% of industry revenues in a sector with more than 35,000 businesses. In fact, this underestimates the dominance of the Big Four international audit firms. Between them, they account for 34.7% of industry revenue. At SBA Canada, we understand that the business processes and technologies used by sole practitioners are necessarily very different than those of the largest firms that dominate the profession. While tax and compilation services probably make up about 97% of the fees earned by the smallest 18,000 or so firms, audit and management consulting revenues represent more than half of the revenues earned by the Big Four firms. This is thanks to CPA Canada's monopoly on audit services and the Big Four's international brands and influence. These firms earn about 33% of their revenue from consulting services, much of which is sold to governments. We'd argue management consulting isn't a core accounting capability. Most firms acquire these skills by acquisition, not by training. It also represents a very real danger for Canadian taxpayers. A few decades ago, the Big 8 firms lobbied governments on behalf of their large international clients. Today, the Big Four are paid by our governments to advise them. Not surprisingly, their advice generally benefits Canada's largest companies. According to a 2018 study by CPA Canada, 55% of public accounting firms are led by sole practitioners. Most of these have few employees, and our analysis shows that more than half work from home offices. The same study shows that approximately 60% or more of all CPA firms have between 1 and 5 employees. Undoubtedly, most skew to 1 or 2 employees, including the practitioner. So, most public accounting firms are led by sole practitioners, and a great many of these work from home offices. FAIR technologies and business processes used by these small firms are very different from those used by the largest 30 firms, which together account for 73% of industry revenue. At SBA Canada, we've developed a technology stack designed for the processes used by small firms working with their small business clients.